Please read the disclaimer. The crypto market continues to have a very nice Sunday, but there is a little bit of a pullback. We'll talk about what is happening in the crypto market, XRP, Bitcoin, and the rest. We'll look at the current situation in Venezuela and why it's so important for the markets. And we'll look at something that a company that has a connection to me personally is doing. You'll understand soon. And a national grade oversight for Ripple. What? National bank grade oversight. You'll understand soon. Make sure to watch all the way to the end of the video. Of course, all I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. It's up, it's down, sideways. We always give those beautiful smiles. Smishity smash that like button. Look what happened. You guys broke the 1,000 threshold multiple times, and the crypto market, that's all I gotta say. So if we take a look at what's happening, currently XRP is at $2.07. It actually went up to $2.12, but the whole market is kind of pulling back a little bit. You can see Ethereum is even in the red on the day. Solana is flat. Bitcoin is up 0.45%. The big movers of the day are the meme coins that are going bananas today. Bonk 31%, Pepe 14%, Floki 14%, Shib 12%, Pengu 15%. So the meme coins are getting a little bit love today and yesterday and the day before. And this is, again, I told you earlier this morning, if you saw the video, in the past, this has been a pre to the rest, right? But we'll see if that is going to potentially happen. Again, I don't know exactly what's going to happen with the markets day to day. Of course, this video is for educational purpose, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Also, I do own XRP, I own Bitcoin, I own a slew of cryptos. So if I do talk about them, I will mention that to you, okay? I own some of the meme coins I just mentioned there as well. So that you should know, right? CZ says the crypto market is tiny, the technology potential is huge, all unrealized, just the beginning. Of course, you know, CZ wants to, yeah, most of his his net worth is in BNB. So of course he wants the crypto market to be successful. He's, you know, even though he's not the CEO anymore of Binance, he still has a lot of interest there. So it will be very interesting to see, you know, what happens here. But we need to be careful in the short term because I'm seeing a lot of the videos and a lot of the posts on Twitter. People are getting very excited, but you know, if you're an OG of the channel, I'm very cautious. I always have the monkey on my shoulder. If you're new to the channel, maybe, I don't know, there's not a lot of new subscribers. It was like 40 last month, so not a lot. I saw some of my people that are like, you know, also friends that I've met or talked to that are also creators. I don't know if I can call them friends, but some of them I've met. Anyway, one of them told me that they had a negative month yesterday, and this was the last time that they had a negative month on subscribers, was the bottom of the 2022 bear market. So I don't know. I just wanted to mention that stat as well. But again, we don't know what the market is going to do, and we have to be careful. And we know Sunday fun day can always be a sad day because Monday sell-offs are a real thing, Monday morning sell-offs. So we need to take that in consideration. And of course, there is still the gap. Mind the gap, right? Anybody that's been to London there, you can see that there was a gap that opened up in New Year's, right after New Year's. And so that is something that I'm watching as well. This might close, and then that could bring the rest of the crypto market with it. And if we have over leverage and memes and everything else, that could, you know, be a big sell-off. So the market could continue to be volatile, and we need to be careful. Okay. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about Venezuela and the current situation there. You know, the markets have showed us in the past few months, especially the crypto market, that it can be very susceptible to news, right? Trump said something about China, and we had October 10th, right? So we need to be very careful. We need to know all the geopolitical things that are happening right now. It's very important. Okay, so the whole thing is around oil. They do have gold as well, but it's the biggest reserve in the world of oil, right? So while Venezuela holds 300 billion barrels of oil, much of this is heavy crude oil. They don't know what to produce it correctly, right? Um, Countries like Russia and Iran were trying to help them, but still, and they also, it's an interesting, I saw a video last night of how they owe a significant amount of money still to Iran and to China. And China, they're going to be okay, probably, right? Even if Venezuela doesn't pay them back. But Iran is already in a bad financial situation. You know, people are rioting there, there's unrest. Well, now Venezuela is not going to pay them back, probably. So, you know, that could create more geopolitical stress. But Texas and Louisiana also to have 6 of the largest heavy crude oil refineries in the world. What does that mean? Let's explain here. In early 2000, Venezuela was a much larger oil producer than the US. In fact, Venezuela produced 3 times as much oil at nearly 3.3 million barrels a day. By 2020, Venezuela production has declined to just 900,000 barrels a day, while the US hit 5 million a day. This is key, right? First, Venezuela has been very heavily sanctioned from the US for years. This resulted in old infrastructure hindering the ability to extract heavy crude oil. Heavy oil is far more expensive to extract than light crude oil. This requires advanced techniques like steam injection. The image below helps understand. The leftmost photo shows heavy crude oil, which is often like a goo-like mixture. As you might move to the right, the crude oil becomes lighter and much easier to process, but here's exactly why it's a crucial point for the US, right? So you can see the heavier and the lighter. The US became incredibly dependent on heavy crude oil in the 1980s. Just 10 to 20% of US crude oil imports were heavy crude oil. Today, a majority of the US crude oil imports are heavy crude oil at 70%. The US wants more heavy crude oil, and Venezuela has billions of barrels of it. Now, take a look at crude oil imports to the US. Canada shares the imports has surged from 15% to 60% of US imports. Meanwhile, Venezuela imports to the US has effectively stalled. If the US can restore these imports, it would highly be profitable for the US government. Currently, Venezuela holds more oil than any country in the world. They even hold 20% more oil reserves than Saudi Arabia. What's the best way to restore these massive heavy crude oil imports to the US? Take control of the country's oil reserve. And they did also, you know, Venezuela did take companies that were operating in Venezuela that were American companies, and they took over those companies and they said, oh no, these are not American companies anymore. These are all assets that are in Venezuela are now Venezuela's property and not these American companies' property. And so that also is a thing. And President Trump said that those will be returned to their rightful owners. So listen, it's an interesting situation. It could create unrest between Venezuela, U.S. and Russia and China. But basically, since I think after World War II, anything that's happened on the western side of the Atlantic, the U.S. has basically controlled the whole area, right? There hasn't really been any intrusion from Europe or Asia into that, right? There's been many wars around the world, but in that area of North America, South America, people haven't come in and tried to get into that action. It's only been the US. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And this is the big thing for the markets, for the world, and it could affect the market. So we need to take that into consideration. And it's very, very important to know. Now, the M2s continue to go up. US M2 is at all-time high. Japan M2 is all-time high. China M2 is all-time high. Euro M2 is all-time high. Stocks at all-time high. Precious metals at all-time high. Only the crypto market is far off its all-time high, right? So when we look at all those things, and we're looking now that people are looking, hey, wait a second, 2025 was, pretty good year for everything but crypto. Then again, when I look at crypto, I say, okay, this might be an undervalued asset. Some people might say it's a nothing and there's no reason to invest in it. But that's what's great investing. Some people think that this company is terrible, and some people think that real estate is terrible, and some people think that it's gold, right? My father's uncle bought buildings in Tribeca, New York, 50 years ago, no, it's already more than 50 years ago, a building for like $250,000, and now those buildings are worth hundreds of $1 million probably. So one area might look like slums to some person, and the other person sees it as a gold mine. It's all about perspective, right? And on that, it's a different side of the family, but PricewaterhouseCoopers to dive into crypto. So my personal connection is that my uncle was a partner there. So that's just, he's retired now. But as per Financial Times, Big Four firm PricewaterhouseCoopers is ramping up its crypto work after years of caution following the Trump administration embrace of digital assets. So, like I've told you multiple times, when you have the US government now embracing and now opening things up and now giving its stamp of approval, then you're going to have many companies, financial companies, accounting firms, lawyer firms, they're going to be coming out and say, hey, we didn't touch until now crypto stuff, but because the government now is positive on it, right, and we're not going to get in trouble for doing this, then we're pro crypto now, right? Because we can make money. At the end of the day, people and companies and conglomerates, they care about making money. Remember that, okay? And this is interesting. Wormhole just tweeted out, national bank rate oversight is the future of stablecoins. Ripple is executing that vision with RLUSD. With NYDFS state oversight and conditional federal US OCC, the controller's office, approval, Ripple set the highest standard for stablecoin compliance, now going multi-chain powered by Wormhole and TT. So you could potentially have a situation where, people are going to flood to stable coins, and Ripple is going to have a leg up because they have all these approvals and all this strength. So it's going to be very interesting to see how much that gives Ripple, how much valuation, if they do ever go IPO, how much of that is looked at as well. It's going to be very, very interesting in the future. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, now's the time to do so. You can join our free Telegram group that's open to everybody. Link is in the description down below. Follow me on Twitter, also linked in the description down below. And subscribe, drop a comment. Did we get to 1,000 likes? Yes, no, maybe. You could be the 1,000th person. I believe in you. Yes, you. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.